again earlier. You know, some of my relatives, yung mga babae, the women, were asking me, even from the States, the residents of the United States, why did you have to include the relationship between Dilima and her driver? Now, the crux of the matter is, if I do not talk about that relationship with Dilima to her driver, then there is no topic to talk about. Because what is really very crucial there is the fact that because of that relationship with her driver, which I termed immoral because the driver has a family and a wife, that connection gave rise to the corruption of what was happening inside the National Penitentiary. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng special privileges. Are you not surprised that during her term and for a longer period, when she became the Secretary of Justice, there were special privileges granted to almost all inmates. There were guns there inside. There were parties being held almost every night. There was a combo, a musical group. Liquors and alcoholic drinks flowed freely, and women went inside and out the prison. Now, if I do not mention the connect between the senator, who was then a Secretary of Justice, and a driver, how would you now explain? How would now explain to the public that these things happened, the partying, drugs, and even cooking shabu went well, unbridled, unhampered, because of the driver himself? Would you think that a driver of a Department of Justice employee could have allowed these things by all and himself? These illegal things which you saw on TV almost every day for about a month? Do you think that without Dilima giving him the authority to allow the inmates to do that, all of this could have only happened if there was the go signal from the head of the department, which is the secretary. Barlaan, is there his name? Yeah, Barlaan. He was also one of the bagman. There's another fellow there. Undersecretary, all of these things happened under your nose, and shabu was floating inside, and it was being, and what was really painful, and that's the reason why we knew, and I know, because they were trafficking shabu from the inside. Were it not for that authority, the cell phones and everything else, the guns, could not have happened. Now, I am now warning everybody connected with the Bureau of Prisons in Muntinlupa. All the guards there and the supervisors. Because if you do not tell the truth before any committee of any governmental body, be it the Senate or the House of Representatives, be prepared to be charged. For what? That is serious negligence of duty. If not, I hope it is not that you were in conspiracy with the prisoners. You were there for almost all the time that these things happened. Do you mean to say that you did not report it to your superiors? Or you allowed these things to happen by yourself, only your authority and nobody else's? then be prepared to be investigated. Because I will charge you for negligence of duty or under the revised penal code for conspiring with these guys to precisely act the way they behave there inside the prison. It could not have happened without your connivance. It could only mean conspiracy. Now, if you're not ready to tell the truth, I said, be ready to be ousted. You're all invited in the meantime to go to Basilan and find your places there and in Hulo. You're going there. Kayong lahat, I will be assigning you there. In the meantime that we are now waiting for the House of Representatives, which is also conducting its own inquiry, I urge the Lima to proceed with the investigation. And I would like to invite, there's somebody, sir, who told me there was this UN expert that Duterte is not doing enough. To come to the Philippines, have a conference to me in public. You can ask your questions, all that you want to know. But allow me to ask you also. You seem to be characterized as a UN expert. Fine. I'm just a simple trial lawyer. So why don't you come here and let's talk about what you are talking about. Extrajudicial killing, I will do the explanation in public for international release if you want. For the things that really happened during the criminals and the police in operations, punitive operations, police action, I am willing to answer all of them. And I said, I assume full responsibility for what happened because I was the one who ordered it. Now, my instructions at the very first day of my term was that go out and hunt for these criminals. Arrest them if they surrender peacefully. But if they put up a violent stand, then you just have to kill him. Because I do not want people in government dying needlessly for doing his work. Where you will then be leaving behind a family and children. Now remember today, we lost another policeman. On the average, on the national scheme, we lose about on the average, 2-3 police officers killed in drug operations. I want the law expert to come here and to count the numbers of deaths also incurred by government with his fingers to guide him how many deaths were caused. For the extrajudicial killing, they say, it's not the work of the police to be wrapping people with plastics and putting it in the bag. That is not the job of the police. I just told him that one bullet will do. Why do you have to wrap it? Waste your time. That is not. But we know at the start what we planted the intrigues there. I am just as, well, not really. I've learned a lot during my prosecution days. We planted evidence. We arrested persons, but we released them. But telling him that it was this person who squealed on him. And then we, when he goes out but killing, then we said that it was this fellow who really did it, who did you in. We first planted the intrigues so that we would know where they were, from where they came from. It was not until I was the favorite whipping boy of De Lima. She was for the longest time chairman of the Commission on Appointments, Philippines Republic. She was yakking, she never proved anything. When she became Secretary of Justice, she was yakking, accusing me. But she never also initiated any complaint, any accusation anywhere. She just simply loved talking in front of cameras and microphones. Now, she's conducting an investigation against, in the matter of judicial killings. And then she had the gall again to mention my name, Mayor Duterte, that's what I call me. My appellation is really Mayor. That's my nickname, so you call me Mayor. Do not call me President. I'm not used to it. I've been Mayor for 23 years. Just call me Mayor. I said, Mr. President Duterte, follow me as I start my probe. Good. Then we will have to include all. Your driver, all of the employees, Barlaan, and may I ask you, the name of the house in Pangasinan was named under the title was named in favor of under the sister of your driver. Where did she get the money? Tell me. Where did your driver get the money to build such a good house? Can you show me their income? What's their business? And what is the wealth of your driver? He was the only one residing there all the time. And you, Senator De Lima, went there so many times. First during the house blessings, and on weekends you were with your driver. And everybody knows. The Department of Justice employees know about it. When you were the secretary of, or the chairman of the commission appointments, everybody in that agency knew about it, as if you're the only one.